Stage is set for a battle royale at the Oval next week as the finalists are chosen to meet the mighty Gabby. Over 90 dead in Norway following an attack on a summer camp. And in sports, England are in charge against India at Lord's.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
I'm Lisa Broom with the Saturday, July 23rd edition of the CBC Evening News. In our top story, one newcomer and two former monarchs are among the 9 finalists who will come up against reigning Calypso King, the mighty Gabby, on Friday night at Kensington Oval in the Pickety Crop competition. The 9 met at the National Cultural Foundation this afternoon for the draw to determine their positions of appearance during Friday night's show. David Kigside Pigott will take the stage first, followed by Anderson Blood Armstrong second, Crystal Cummings Beckles third, Terencia T.C. Coward fourth, Peter Adonijah Allen fifth, David Popsicle Hall sixth, Anthony Gabby Carter seventh, Ronald the Announcer Clark eighth, Keomal Nurse ninth, and Adrian A.C. Clark 10th. First-timer Popsicle told CBC News he is confident that he will do well.
A very good performance. I don't want to elaborate too much on it. I don't want to expose too much. Don't want to let the cat out of the bag, you know, because at the end of the day, you know that Barack Obama didn't tell Osama what he was going to do before he did it. That's why I put him on the guard. So just need to remain focused and stick to the game plan, and hopefully I'll be able to execute what I set out to execute properly.
After a long break, veteran Adonijah is back in the competition and is also looking to do well.
Well, I was trying to deny it to myself, I really did miss it, you know. And coming back last year in terms of having worked with Tassa on one of her songs, it brought me close to the band and the situation again. And I guess the bug just kind of bit me again.
And Adrian A.C. Clark, who has one of the season's most popular songs, Frandel, says his aim on the night is to put on a show.
You can expect entertainment coming from myself. I know you can get it from a number of the other artists, but it's going to be a little more than just singing from top to bottom, you know, verse 1 to verse 3 or 4, whatever. I think it's some entertainment value, and I think that's what the crowd expects. And the judges are human beings too. They might sit down there and try to be as serious as ever, but we know that they want to enjoy themselves as much as they can while judging and be entertained.
For the children, parents and spectators today, Junior Kadooment 2011 was a blast. Starting their mini jump up at Terrell Court, hundreds of children danced their way into the National Stadium to parade before the judges. There were 14 bands this year, some from primary schools participating in the National Cultural Foundation's costume making workshop. They were all showcasing a variety of colorfully crafted pieces. Some chose to pay tribute to Barbadian stalwarts Dame Olga Lopes-Seal and reigning Pickety Crop monarch the mighty Gabby, among others. Chairman of the Barbados Tourism Authority, Adrian Elcock, says it is important for children to learn about their culture early.
I think Junior Kadooment is an important part in helping to support the whole economic aspect of the industry at different levels. I also think it's important to continue telling our cultural story to the world. We can't underestimate the importance of cultural tourism and cultural and artistic expression in helping us to shape who we are as Barbadians. So I think starting from young is the important thing that we have to do.
Barbadians who may not want to venture to Soco Royale this Sunday have another option. That is the album launch of the lead singer with the Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir, Susan Quinton, at the Carrington's Wesleyan Holiness Church. Mrs. Quinton says she opted to launch the CD called Worthy of Worship in Barbados first, since she is Barbadian by descent. She hopes the 9 songs on the album, which were written by Brand Henderson, can inspire and encourage others.
I am hoping that people will not only be encouraged, but that they will be drawn into personal worship time with the Lord. Obviously, I would love it to go worldwide and to go global, which would be great, because that means that my ministry is not just local. It can affect the life of another person in another part of the world.
Coordinator Jeff Shepard says he has high hopes for the event.
I hope the church could be filled on Sunday night. We hold about 600, and we hope that we can fill the church. You know, another place to go, apart from Soho Royale, there is a church on Sunday night at 6:30. Come over to Carrington's, and I'm sure you're going to be blessed.
Over 20,000 tickets have been sold in just over 2 weeks for the Rihanna Loud concert. Chairman of the Barbados Tourism Authority, Adrian Elcock, disclosed the figure this morning during Junior Kadooment at the National Stadium. Mr. Elcock says they're still finalizing the lineup for the August 5th show.
By this evening, I'll sign off on that. We will have a Barbadian band. I'm pretty comfortable about it. And I'm working on 2 other acts, including an international act.
Mr. Elcock adds there are no formal restrictions on the age of children attending the show.
No, we don't have any formal restrictions. I think it's a parental decision. I spoke to the organizers, and they said they don't have an age restriction. Now, my personal view is that every parent should use their judgment, listen to the music, and make a decision.
In other news now, Barbados was the first country in the world to pass economic sanctions against South Africa during the apartheid period. In fact, Professor Alan Cobley says the island was the first major rallying point for the struggle in the black world. Professor Cobley, a lecturer in South African history at the University of the West Indies, was a guest on the CBC TV8 program 67 Minutes for Mandela, celebrating the freedom fighter's 93rd birthday.
That came out of the Milton King incident, when a Barbadian seaman on a ship called the SS Strategist stopped off in Cape Town, was drinking in a bar. He was picked up by 2 white policemen who thought he was a cheeky Kaffir, as they said in South Africa in those days. He was beaten until he was mortally injured and died. Now that became a major cause célèbre across the Caribbean. There were demonstrations here led by the Barbados Workers' Union in British Guyana, as it then was. There was a rally in Trafalgar Square.
He said the sanctions and activism were picked up worldwide, leading to international action against the Boer regime. He was responding to contentions from local historian Trevor Marshall that there was actually an anti-Mandela movement in Barbados in the 80s.
There are people who did not even want to hear the name Nelson Mandela, and they call him a misfit. I remember Reverend Dr. Gordon Matthews venting against Nelson Mandela. I remember Al Jukes going to South Africa and saying there was nothing wrong with South Africa, and he discovered that there were millionaires living in Soweto, and at the height, and Robert Goddard, a member, a scion of the Goddard family, going to South Africa and saying the only thing wrong with South Africa were people like Mandela and the ANC.
Head of the Commission for Pan-African Affairs, Dr. Erskine Simmons, was also a guest on the program. He says South Africans have a special spirit for survival.